Sistral here, back with round 3 of our Tezzerator deck with Gemstone Caverns. Looks like we lost the die roll, so we're on the draw, exactly where we wanted to be anyway. So it's basically like we won the die roll. This hand, probably not very good. 1 land, 2 opals, awkward. So we're going to mulligan this. This hand's not great either. But is it better than a random 5 is the question. This hand doesn't really do anything. We're relying on our scry and our bauble to draw us into some action. I think I can mulligan it. Okay, this hand's awkward, but I think I have to keep it. Question is, what do I exile here? I guess considering we have another Sword of the Meek on top, I think... no, I kind of want to draw a land. Kind of think I have... So I think it's between Sword and Tezzerator. So I do want to be able to power out Tezzerator faster, ideally. But, so I kind of lean towards keeping that, but Sword is obviously pretty essential. I guess we can tutor up another Sword. We've got 2 more. I got exile the Sword. I don't know if it's right, but we'll see. It is awkward that we don't have the Mox Opal online. But like an artifact and then a land maybe would give us a Tezzerator on turn 3. So it looks like this is humans. That's pretty awkward. Although if we draw like a land or a 0-drop artifact next turn, as long as the land is a blue source, we can whir for 2. Although I have a bad feeling we're going to get overrun a bit. Yeah, that's pretty awkward too. And they're coming out pretty aggressively. So it's a land. Yes, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to pay because it's going to enter tapped anyway. So we might just be too late. Yeah, because we're at 5. Okay. Maybe we're not. So here we can whir for Ensnaring Bridge. Okay. Gets us back into it, maybe. Keeps us alive. That was actually maybe a better draw than a land. I'm assuming we're getting cocoed here. No? Okay. Maybe he thinks we have a counterspell, but we have something even better. There's a good chance they don't have a main deck answer to this. I'm guessing they don't have Pride Mage, because if I remember correctly, Pride Mage is not a human. Aha, they don't get anything. So the Tezzerat's going to be pretty good here. It's going to give us a win condition if we can successfully hide behind this bridge. Okay, Noble Hierarch is a way we can lose. In which case... So we're not dead next turn. It's only going to be a 1. They would have to play too many nobles, so I think we just Tezzeret here. So the question is, do I want to make something a 5/5 to block? I think I do, because I don't really want to draw a card anyway. I think I'm going to make the bauble a 5/5 so that if they try to like fatal push it, I can welding jar it. So this will give us a defense against the Noble Hierarch. Next turn, depending on what we draw, I might just cast Simian Spirit Guide as another blocker. And then I can start ticking up Tezzeret to get more artifacts into play and get lethal. So I need 8 artifacts now. So I'm halfway there. Okay. Don't think I could crack the bauble in response. Well, I can't replay it next turn, so maybe I will just crack it in response then. Awkward, they're drawing another Reflector Mage. So we might have to turn our Opal into a creature as well next turn. Although I guess if they attack, we won't be able to do that without losing the Tezzeret. So we'll have to plus Tezzeret, but that's okay. We're still several turns from dying this way. Especially if they're attacking Tezzeret. Okay, we drew another Tezzeret. So given that, so I'm thinking I'm probably going to play a Prism and then play a Spirit Guide and plus Tezzeret. Unless I get a 0 drop, I might well not take an artifact so that I only have 1 card in hand. I don't leave myself open to the Reflector Mage. Because if I do that, I'm dead. I have to stay below 2 cards. The other option is I could make 2 things, 5/5s, but I don't think I really want to do that because, again, I could Prism and Tezzeret. Well, I guess actually the Simian Spirit Guy, I could just make mana with it. But I don't really want to make both of these into 5/5s. One gets bounced. Because then, like, if one gets bounced and another gets pathed, that kind of sucks. So maybe for this turn, I want to Just plus. Well, I didn't hit an artifact anyway, so that was easy. And yeah, I think I'd rather. I assume if I make a 5/5, if I were to play the other Tezzerator making a 5/5, it's whatever I make is just going to get bounced by the Reflector Mage. So I might as well put this in. Even though it comes into play tapped, I'm still, again, not very close to dying. Next turn, I could potentially make 2 things 5/5, stuff like that. If they bounce this, I don't really mind either, because then I do still have the option of using it for mana. Oh. Wow, that was a huge mistake. I should have just made mana with it. I forgot about that. I wasn't paying attention. Oh well, that was our own stupid mistake. I should have just exiled it. Didn't really think about the fact that bouncing it puts me back at 2 cards in hand. So that feels bad. Because I think we probably would have won this game. I think it would have been a long grind, but I think we probably would have won it handily in a while. So, given that, what do we want to bring in? Cage is a possibility. Removal is a possibility. Aether Grid is probably... Cage would be for a collected company, which I didn't see, but I've gotta assume is there. Pithy Needle, I would name Township. I don't think I care about Township. Could name Kazali Pride Mage if I think that might be a thing, but I do have welding jars. So I think I'm going to get rid of Pithy Needle and Relic. I think I'm going to get rid of Chalice of the Void. I mean, they do have a lot of cheap spells. It would be nice to drop this for 1 on turn 1, but just every draw, I've never had a chance to do that. It just seems so unlikely, and if I'm not doing that on turn 1, it feels really bad. What else? I think given that I could very likely see Stony Silence, I'll take out 1 of each of the combo pieces. Yeah, I think I'm going to try this. Do I want Padim? Padim would kind of protect against Reflector Mage bouncing my stuff, but that only matters if I make it 5/5. So no, I think I'll try this. We would like to take the draw. Always feels weird doing that. Okay, so we've got a turn 1 Thopter Foundry and online Opal, so that's pretty good. So I think we will Gemstone Cavern, exile Polluted Delta. So let's see. If we draw Tezzerator, we could potentially go for like a turn 2 Tezzerator. Okay, that's pretty good. So playing an Opal. So question is, do I want to play Thopter Foundry or Pentad Prism? I guess this turn I might be best off just playing the Thopter Foundry, because next turn I could play Watery Grave Yeah, because next turn I can play Watery Grave, Pentad Prism of 1 land plus 2 counters on the Pentad Prism. I guess I only need 1 counter. Yeah. So let's do this. So next turn I will play Pentad Prism, Watery Grave, and I should be able to whir for Thopter or for Sword of the Meek. And Sword of the Meek, Thopter Foundry should be really good here. Unless I get Stony Silenced. Or Rest in Peace. Okay. That is annoying, but not a big deal. It slows us down a turn. We will still be able to Watery Grave and Pentad Prism. We won't be able to Watery Grave whir for 2. We'd only be able to whir for 1. Well, this actually does make us extra mana. Let's just make sure. Well, the few times this comes up, this makes 3. So take that, Thalia. So actually, I can whir for... Okay, yeah, this works out great. I can still do what I wanted because I can... got 3, 3, which lets me whir for 2. So I'll be able to whir for 2 and then untap with combo online. And I feel like that's got to be quite good. Sim Collector? Yes, we will obviously whir in response. We're going to Sword of the Meek. They won't be able to take the cage. Well, I kind of have a feeling I'll just run out the cage next turn, even though it will prevent me from making 2 extra Thopters. I would like to be able to stop Collected Company. I don't think they play Court of Calling, but if they do, it's another thing it stops. And then Tezzerator is a good, pretty solid draw. Still need 1 more mana to cast it. Okay. I've played against this card before. It is pretty awkward, but given that we already have Thopter Sword in play, not really a big deal. We don't actually really need to cast any spells anymore. I will happily make a trade here. So what are the odds they have surgical extraction? Certainly a possibility that I might as well play around. Because nothing feels worse than losing to a surgical you don't have to die to. I do have the extra land, so if I want, I do have the option of playing Tezzerator next turn, which I very likely will, because I'll have lots of blockers, and he will end the game in a couple turns. I don't really care about the life loss, because I'm going to be gaining 5 life. Guess losing 1 from the Delta became 4 life. Might as well make 2 more. Block with everything so I can actually kill it. Which makes me kind of think he has another one, which means I might delay the Tezzerator for a turn. Stony Silence. Okay, it's not terrible. We do get to make a couple Thopters, and we do have a Tezzerator in hand. So they do have Stony Silence. Aether Grid seems fantastic. Just fantastic. Feels good. Feels good to be me right now. Just kill off. Let's just kill off some things. Yeah, let's just attack. It could represent 1 damage to a creature, but yeah, it's disappointing. We still have the Tezzerator, so we're still in solid shape. Now, here's where I do kind of wish I was able to ping that in response, so he has only 1 creature left, but what can you do? So I think I'm going to run this out. I take 2. Question is, do I want to make a 5/5 to be able to block? I think I do. He has no cards in hand, so be able to put up like another blocker seems pretty good. And this lets me get 2 in the air. Okay, Whir seems pretty good. Because a bridge would be just fine here to be able to hide behind. I guess I do need an answer to that. Do I actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I have a bridge would put me at a lethal number of artifacts. If he's downshipping, that makes my bridge all that much better. So I think I will sacrifice the 2 life to bridge. And then start plussing Tezzerator potentially not even taking any cards so that I don't end up with extra things that I have to cast and lose 2 life for. Okay. Okay, so now that we know for sure we have to beat Stony Silence, does that change anything? I don't think so. So I don't think it's going to be Chalice on 2 is going to matter. That hurts us a fair bit. Still happy with taking out one of each of the sword combo. Pithy Needle doesn't seem any better. Brutality doesn't really seem any better. Yeah, I think I like this. I think we'll just run this back. And they fell into our trap of letting us be on the draw. And this hand. So got a turn 1 Prism or a turn 1 Thopter Foundry. Yeah, I think I like this. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. I got the Ensnaring Bridge, I got the Thopter Foundry. Could play something on turn 1, I get the Spire online on turn 1. So now the question is, do I want Pentad Prism or Thopter Foundry? I think given my hand, I think I kind of might just go for turn 1 Pentad Prism. Kind of gives me more options and potentially a turn 2 Tezzerator if I draw one. If I don't draw one, I can still just play the Thopter Foundry or Ensnaring Bridge or something like that. I think I'm going to wait cracking the bauble till next turn, because then I have the polluted delta. I could potentially bauble myself. Although if I crack it this turn, increases, well, I can't turn 2 Tezzerator anymore. So yeah, I think I will hold off on the bauble. And I might well just... Should I just pulse the Thalia? Really thinking of just pulsing the Thalia here. I don't like it. I'm kind of having to take a bunch of damage to do this anyway, but I don't really like the idea of Thalia being able to attack me. Thalia is not usually that big of a deal, but it is really annoying, slows me down a lot. So here, I think I'm going to bauble. Might as well just bauble them. Because I want to get another land for Ensnaring Bridge. Stony Silence, okay. A little awkward knowing I'm drawing Stony Silence, but actually not too bad because it all effectively is a land for Ensnaring Bridge, and I might as well just use up the Pentad Prism anyway, since it's being turned off next turn. So yeah, I think that was an okay draw. Because if it was actually just a land and something else, I might have still had 3 cards in hand. Surprise, surprise. Okay, that's not really what we wanted. Kind of don't really want to... So I'm still going to cast this. The question is, do I want to take one? I guess I do. I guess I do want to take one here to play this so that the Absence Pilgrim can't attack me. And getting a Thopter Foundry in play is still, like, getting my combo in play is still pretty good, because then if I draw, I've got 2 Abrupt Decays and 1 Maelstrom Pulse. That I still need another land, but if I draw one of them, I can get rid of the Stony Silence. I mean, right now they are on kind of a very slow clock. Sword, okay, yeah. So now, like, an Abrupt Decay would be fantastic, because it would even free up the Opal, so I could make a token right away and, like, block something. I think I still gotta... See, I really need a land, because this is... The pain kind of sucks. I wonder what he's got in hand, because he's got 4 lands and, like, he hasn't been playing spells for a few turns. Can't play any more Thalia's Lieutenants, because that would make this one unable to attack. So I wonder what he has. I mean, maybe Reflector Mages. Might as well hold on to them. Oh. Does that... I guess we're not quite dead. We're at 1. But I think that basically kills us. Because I don't think there's any draw we can have at this point. If we're going down to 1, even an Abrupt Decay would not be enough. So unfortunately, so that kind of sucks. I feel like if we had not screwed up game 1 with a silly punt, we would have taken the match. But you know, these things happen. You live, you learn. Need to keep in mind Ensnaring Bridge and Simian Spear Guide. I can just chuck it at any point. So anyway, there we go. So I'll see you soon for round 4.